America's history is a tapestry of diverse cultures, groundbreaking innovations, and transformative events. It begins with indigenous cultures whose rich traditions and wisdom shaped the land long before European settlers arrived. The arrival of explorers like Christopher Columbus marked the beginning of a new era, leading to the establishment of colonies. The struggle for independence, encapsulated by figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, resulted in the birth of a new nation. The 19th century saw expansion and conflict, including the Civil War, which ended slavery and set the stage for a redefined union. The turn of the 20th century ushered in an era of rapid industrialization, world wars, and economic shifts that solidified America's role on the global stage. The civil rights movement, spearheaded by leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., brought significant societal change and laid the groundwork for further advancements in equality. The technological revolution at the close of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st has positioned America as a leader in innovation. Today, America continues to navigate its complex history, seeking to balance progress with the values and lessons learned from its past. The journey through American history is indeed a fascinating exploration of resilience, creativity, and the enduring spirit of discovery. Our story begins with the indigenous peoples, who have lived on this land for thousands of years. The Navajo, with their intricate weaving and vibrant storytelling, have turned the arid deserts into canvases for their artistry. Their stories speak of a deep connection to the land, where every grain of sand has meaning. Over in the northeastern woodlands, the Iroquois Confederacy flourished, a powerful union of 6 tribes. With a sophisticated political system predating the United States Constitution, the Iroquois balanced governance with profound respect for nature. Their longhouses were not merely homes, but symbolized a strong sense of community and cooperation. Moving to the Great Plains, the Sioux epitomized freedom and resilience. With their skillful horsemanship and buffalo hunting, they thrived in vast open spaces. Their dances and ceremonies are a testament to their spiritual bond with the earth and the sky. Exploring these traditions reveals the profound wisdom and rich heritage of these tribes, whose contributions shaped the very fabric of this land. Their cultures, filled with reverence for the natural world, offer lessons in sustainability and communal living. The Navajo, Iroquois, and Sioux each tell a part of a greater story, one that weaves together to form the colorful tapestry of America's indigenous history. In the 15th century, a wave of European explorers set sail across the Atlantic, driven by a mix of ambition, curiosity, and the desire for wealth. Among these explorers were the British, Spanish, and French, whose expeditions would forever alter the course of history for the native lands they encountered. The British, meticulous and strategic, often established colonies that mirrored their own social structures. They brought with them not only their language and customs, but also their agricultural practices and trade systems. In the northeastern part of what is now the United States, the British influence can still be seen in place names, architectural styles, and legal systems. The Spanish, driven by the search for gold and the spread of Christianity, explored and colonized vast regions in the Americas, particularly in the south and southwestern parts of the continent. Spanish expeditions left behind a rich legacy of language, religion, and culture. Cities such as Los Angeles and San Diego still carry names derived from their Spanish origins, and the influence of Spanish architecture and festivals remains prominent in these areas. The French, known for their fur trade and alliances with indigenous tribes, established a presence in regions such as Canada and the Mississippi River Valley. Their approach to colonization was often more inclusive, leading to a blend of cultures and traditions. The French legacy is particularly evident in places like Quebec, where French is still the dominant language and French customs are deeply ingrained in the social fabric. Each of these European powers, with their own distinct objectives and methods, left an indelible mark on the lands they colonized. The fusion of European influences with indigenous cultures created societies that were both complex and unique, paving the way for the diverse cultural landscapes we see today. The 15th century marked the beginning of a significant era of exploration and colonization, one that would shape the geopolitical and cultural contours of the modern world. The 18th century was a time of great upheaval and transformation, ignited by the burning desire for independence that swept through the American colonies. This period, known as the American Revolution, saw the rise of remarkable leaders who would come to be known as the Founding Fathers. These men, among them George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton, would play pivotal roles in the fight for liberty and the establishment of a new nation. The revolution was precipitated by a series of events and ideologies that called into question the relationship between the colonies and their mother country, Great Britain. Heavy taxation without representation, the imposition of restrictive laws, and the lack of a voice in British Parliament stirred unrest and resentment among colonists. The tipping point came with the outbreak of armed conflict in 1775, leading to the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. The principles enshrined in the Declaration, chiefly that all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, were revolutionary. These ideas drew heavily from Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who championed the ideals of individual liberty, government by consent, and the social contract. The war itself was long and arduous, lasting until 1783 when the Treaty of Paris was signed, recognizing the sovereignty of the United States. However, the struggle for a functional and representative government was far from over. The initial system of government under the Articles of Confederation proved to be weak and ineffective, leading to the Constitutional Convention of 1787. It was here that the Constitution of the United States was drafted, establishing the framework of a federal republic with a system of checks and balances across the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Central to this new government was the Bill of Rights, 10 amendments that ensured the protection of individual liberties against government overreach. The American Revolution and the founding of the United States marked a significant moment in history, laying down the principles of democracy that would inspire future generations around the world. The legacy of the Founding Fathers and their unyielding commitment to liberty, justice, and democracy continues to shape the nation to this day. As the nation expanded westward, technological innovations like the railroad and telegraph transformed the American landscape. The early 19th century was a period of remarkable growth that saw the United States pushing its boundaries beyond the Mississippi River. Pioneers marched westward in search of new opportunities, and the government encouraged this expansion by passing laws like the Homestead Act. However, it was technological advances that played a crucial role in accelerating this movement and shaping the future of the nation. The railroad became the backbone of America's expansion. Prior to its construction, transporting goods across the country was a slow and arduous process, typically involving months of travel by wagon. The Transcontinental Railroad, completed in 1869, changed all that. It created a streamlined route stretching from the East Coast to the West Coast, allowing for the swift movement of people, supplies, and communication. This not only bridged vast distances, but also helped to populate the West quickly. Towns and cities sprang up along railway lines, turning remote areas into booming communities almost overnight. The railway also facilitated trade on an unprecedented scale by connecting local markets to national and even international markets, thus fueling economic growth. While the railroad laid down the physical tracks of expansion, the telegraph connected the nation through invisible lines of communication. Developed in the 1830s and 1840s, the telegraph allowed for near-instantaneous communication across great distances. This advancement significantly impacted businesses, governments, and everyday citizens. For businesses, it meant faster transactions and better coordination of supply chains. For the government, it provided a means of rapid communication which was crucial for maintaining control and making timely decisions. The American Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was a pivotal conflict that emerged from deep-seated tensions between the northern and southern states. The primary cause was the issue of slavery and its expansion into new territories. The southern states, dependent on an agrarian economy that relied heavily on slave labor, were determined to maintain and expand the institution of slavery. In contrast, the northern states, with a more industrialized economy and growing abolitionist sentiments, sought to prevent the spread of slavery into the western territories. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, a Republican who opposed the expansion of slavery, was the final straw for the southern states. Feeling their way of life and economic interests were under threat, 11 southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America. The war began in earnest with the Confederate attack on Fort Sumter in April 1861. The Civil War was brutal and devastating, resulting in over 600,000 deaths and leaving vast swathes of the South in ruins. It was characterized by significant battles such as Gettysburg, Antietam, and Sherman's March to the Sea. The Union's victory in 1865 was a watershed moment. The Confederate surrender at Appomattox Courthouse marked the end of the conflict, but the challenges of reunification and rebuilding were just beginning. The Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, was an attempt to address the myriad issues arising from the war. President Lincoln's initial plan for Reconstruction was lenient, aiming to quickly restore the Union with minimal punishment for the secessionist states. However, his assassination in 1865 altered the course of Reconstruction. His successor, Andrew Johnson, faced significant opposition from the radical Republicans in Congress, who sought to implement more stringent measures. Reconstruction policies focused on rebuilding the South's infrastructure, integrating formerly enslaved people into society, and securing civil rights for African Americans. The 20th century was a transformative period in American history, marked by significant social, political, and technological changes. This era began with the aftermath of the Industrial Revolution and was soon defined by the impact of two world wars. The participation of the United States in World War I signaled its emergence as a global power. With World War II, America's position was solidified, and the post-war period saw the country becoming a leading force in world affairs. The war efforts had profound impacts on the American economy and workforce, particularly with the increased participation of women and minorities in various industries. These changes set the stage for the burgeoning civil rights movement. The fair treatment of African Americans and other marginalized groups became a major issue. The civil rights movement, symbolized by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, culminated in significant legal and social advancements. Key legislations like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were milestones in the struggle for equality. Concurrently, the 20th century witnessed rapid technological advancements. The advent of the telegraph, radio, and television transformed communication. The space race, driven by Cold War rivalries, led to the historic Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, showcasing America's technological prowess. In the latter part of the century, the rise of the Internet revolutionized every aspect of life, from business to social interaction to information dissemination. Politically, America saw the ebb and flow of liberal and conservative ideologies. The New Deal policies of Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed the Great Depression, while later decades grappled with the complexities of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal. The end of the Cold War in the late 1980s marked a significant geopolitical shift as the United States emerged as the sole superpower. Today, America is a melting pot of cultures and ideas. Let's celebrate the diversity and innovation that continue to drive American society forward. Diversity in America is not simply about the blend of different ethnic backgrounds, but also about the mix of perspectives, experiences, and ideas that people from various walks of life bring to the table. This diverse fabric has long been a cornerstone of American progress and innovation. Consider the technological advancements pioneered by immigrants and their descendants, from Alexander Graham Bell, a Scottish-born inventor who created the telephone, to Sergey Brin, a Russian immigrant who co-founded Google. Their contributions are emblematic of the wave of ingenuity that stems from America's inclusive environment. But it isn't just about technology. American culture, cuisine, art, and even holidays have been enriched by a myriad of traditions brought by people from all over the world. From the vibrant Chinese New Year parades to the aromatic scent of Indian spices at local food festivals, every culture adds a unique flavor to the American experience. This celebration of diversity isn't without its challenges. The road to inclusion and acceptance has been paved with struggles and setbacks. Civil rights movements have fought against systemic racism, while various groups continue to strive for equality and recognition. These ongoing efforts highlight that the celebration of diversity is both a recognition of the past and a commitment to the future. As America continues to evolve, its strength lies in its ability to embrace change, encourage dialogue, and foster an environment where every person's unique story can contribute to the collective narrative. This shared commitment to diversity and innovation ensures that America will remain a dynamic and forward-thinking society. So, as we reflect on America's rich cultural tapestry today, let's not only celebrate the diversity that defines us, but also recognize and support the continuous effort to build a more inclusive and innovative future for all. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of American civilization. As we look to the future, the spirit of innovation and freedom remains at the heart of the American identity. With a rich history marked by perseverance and ingenuity, America has always been a beacon of hope and progress. From the founding fathers who penned the Constitution to the pioneers who trekked across unknown lands, the American journey is a testament to the power of dreams and determination. In the modern era, this legacy continues as American inventors, artists, and leaders push the boundaries of what's possible. The technology sector flourishes in Silicon Valley, cultural movements thrive in vibrant cities like New York and Los Angeles, and political arenas are ever-evolving spaces of debate and development. The fabric of the nation is woven with countless stories of individuals who dared to challenge the status quo and innovate for a better tomorrow. Education and research institutions like Harvard, MIT, and Stanford cultivate minds that fuel the next generation of discoveries. Small businesses and entrepreneurs across the country embody the spirit of entrepreneurship, driving economic growth and job creation. Furthermore, America's commitment to freedom and democracy serves as a guiding light for other nations. Through diplomacy and international cooperation, the U.S. engages with the global community to address pressing challenges such as climate change, global health, and security. As we move forward, it is essential to remember the lessons of the past and stay true to the core values that define the American spirit. By embracing diversity, fostering innovation, and upholding the principles of liberty and justice, America can continue to lead and inspire on the world stage. This journey is ongoing, and it beckons each one of us to contribute to the narrative of a nation that values freedom and strives for excellence. Let us celebrate the milestones achieved and look forward with optimism and determination to the opportunities that lie ahead.